Okay, here we go. Hi, I'm Mark Hummel, and this is Jeff Varjan, and we are doing Mark Hummel's Harmonica Party reaction videos. And we want you to like, subscribe, and comment on this. If you want to preserve the blues and the history of the blues, please consider joining us on Patreon. So today we're going to talk a little bit about James Cotton, who we're going to be interviewing. I interviewed the band that worked with him over the last 25 years, and I was working with a couple last month. And so we're going to watch an old video of James in about 1969 and just talk a little bit about James Cotton.
And you're an old friend of James Cotton's.
Yes.
James Cotton was an old friend of yours.
I met James. I first met James when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
But I didn't start working with him until about 2001. And I hired him on about 5 to 7 tours. I have to count them, but it was at least 5, may have been 7.
All right, let's get into James Cotton.
Yeah.
All right, James Cotton. Give me a James Cotton story.
Well, this was really this was kind of the remnants of his first band. He had Luther Tucker and Bob Anderson still with him, but a couple of the drummers had already left, Francis Clay and Sam Lay, and Alberto Gianquente had left, the piano player. And I don't know who the sax player was, but I guess he was the first sax player that he had in that band. But that was him doing Off the Wall by Little Walter. And again, like I was saying in the one about Charlie Musselwhite, and we were talking about Charlie Musselwhite and Paul Butterfield, James Cotton's another one that he was doing all these Little Walter songs. And that really, I gravitated to anybody that was really doing a lot of Little Walter. And James was really one of my huge influences when I was about, 15 years old. And I think I first saw him when I was about 16. And he was very nice to me back then. And I never forgot that performance.
So I think one of the things that's interesting about your blowouts when you bring all these iconic harp players together,
Right.
that it's the one time where a layman or lay person or a just an uninformed person can actually hear the difference between
All these harp
styles,
players. Right.
and tone,
That's right.
and performance.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
clearly he, had a stage presence that was large.
Yeah. Big stage presence. And the thing about James was he was a really hard worker on stage. He would get up there and he would start the song. A lot of times he would do that number and start it with a somersault. He would
Literally a somersault
as he was playing onto the stage.
Okay.
He was such a tremendous showman. Besides being a great harp player and a good singer and a great performer, he was a real hard worker. And the guys like James Cotton influenced the Paul Butterfields and the Charlie Musselwhites and all those guys that came after him. And so he was another one that was really big on the ballroom circuit of the Fillmore and the Avalon ballrooms and all the ballrooms all over the United States. He was another one that was one of Albert Grossman's clients. So he got on all the shows with Janis Joplin and Cream and The Who and anybody else that was big in the 60s. He was on those shows, opening the shows.
So Grossman was a manager.
He was a manager. He was
Dylan?
Bob Dylan, Paul Butterfield, James Cotton, Big Brother and the Holding Company, Peter, Paul, and Mary. They were his first big band.
The band?
Yeah, and
band?
He's also the band was one of his, as I recall. Yes.
So that would make the Dylan connection with them, right?
Right. Yes, they were one of his.
Now, is there a James Cotton story where he was given the band? Was that James Cotton?
He was given Sonny Boy's
band.
Yeah, Sonny Boy Williamson's band.
So how did that happen?
He was very young. He moved in with Sonny Boy when he was 9 years old. And Sonny Boy raised him from the time he was 9 till he was 16. Apparently, he was kind of living at Sonny Boy's house. And Sonny Boy eventually left town when he was 16 and moved to, I think, Milwaukee with his wife. And he told James something like, "I'm going to give you the band. You take the band." And so James said he was way too young to be telling a bunch of grown men what to do.
Right.
And so he kind of blew it and they all quit. But he grew up, his life was such an amazing story.
So did he even go to school? Did he?
He
moved in with a man at 9
He may
years
have
old.
somewhat. I don't know. I know he couldn't write.
Yeah.
I watched him sign posters one
Right.
time. It was very difficult for him. But he was somebody that just, he had this amazing life. Getting schooled by Sonny Boy, playing with Howlin' Wolf when he was 18 or something, playing with Muddy Waters by 1956, and being with him for 12 years or 55. Meeting Little Walter and all those guys when he was just started with Muddy. He just had this amazing Zelig kind of life. And then the whole rock thing that opened up for him in the late 60s. So he really was around for his entire career. He was a popular performer.
And spanned a lot of different kinds of music. A lot of music came and went during his career.
Right. And he was always blues, but he was always a modern kind of blues player. Even though he's playing a very traditional thing there, later on he kind of worked in elements of soul and funk and all this into his style. He was very much of a trendsetter with the Chicago blues.
Well, 40 years ago, when the Blues Brothers, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, were touring as the Blues Brothers, I saw them locally here. And Belushi started the show with cartwheels out onto the stage.
Right.
That must have been a James
Well,
Cotton
I don't know about that because Cotton was doing somersaults.
somersaults.
Yeah, so it was a little different.
Well, Belushi should have been doing somersaults.
He should have been
was-
doing somersaults. Yeah, I don't think he could have.
I don't know what
Yeah.
if it was drug fueled at that point.
Well, Cotton had, serious drug problems as well.
Wasn't he shot?
He was shot 5 times when he was
at
in
one time or 5
1965.
different times.
No, one time.
One shot
The guy-
5 times.
Yeah, he almost died. He was in the hospital for like 6 weeks.
Did it get his lung? It didn't seem like it affected his lungs. He could blow.
Well, it was right in his chest.
Wow.
I paid him one time and saw the bullet holes. It was pretty stunning.
Oh wow! Wow. So
Yeah.
tune
But,
into the description for where this actual video lived. We obviously it had some watermarks on it, so we'll put the actual video link down below so that you can see the actual link and you don't have to watch it in a small box here. But that's it from Mark Hummel's Harmonica Party and our new reaction show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Boogie.